I like over a 20% rate of return.
I do too. How about you?
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker Team.
We're honored that for over 30 years and over 300 or 3,000 actually, 117 times we've been able to come alongside you, not only selling, buying, and investing in real estate, but really coming alongside you to help you build your fun, help you build your finances, and even help you build your faith and strengthen, heal, and flourish inside your life, really, and your relationships. And so 30 years of building your life, your wealth, and your home. And so what we're going to explore in this episode is leverage is the exponential multiplier. What do we mean by that, Ken?
Well, I think it's like compound interest. Leverage can be on top of each other, and you can leverage your current assets to make more assets. I know for us, we have a very good life. We are been very blessed. And some people think it's all been on our income like that. We work hard. We worked hard for our income. We still work hard for our clients. And we make a good income. But our wealth hasn't come just from our income. Our wealth has come from what we've done with our income, how we've leveraged that income to buy other income properties and other income businesses.
Right. And we were told and we were warned, don't leverage. Like it's still, even when you're saying right now we leverage, I get a little sense of panic that can come upon me. And yet I have lived the experience that it has served us and served thousands of our clients really, really well. And so it's how do you,
it's who, how, and what you leverage.
Right. And how much.
Yeah.
Because you can overdo the thing. I mean, I've already been chatting about you can over leverage, and that is we are not an advocate.
No,
or a proponent, and I don't believe we do it.
No, and I've heard some stories of people that borrowed money. They borrowed 100%, not on their own assets, but they borrowed money, like a first and a second, to buy some investment properties when rates were so low. They bought them on variable because they'd have some cash flow of a few $100s. So they thought, hey, how can I lose? I'm going to borrow all this money. I'm still in a positive cash flow position. But now they bought variable rate mortgages because they wanted to
have cash flow.
But now the rates have gone up significantly, and now they have negative cash flow each month, and that house of cards is going to come down.
Because you still need to be able to make the payment. Yeah. And if you put aside money, and we've talked about this in other segments, if you put aside money, if you've been paying more than you needed to pay, you've got money sitting in reserve.
Yeah, but this is investment properties. And they thought that would cash flow some extra money to them by doing that, which it did temporarily. Yeah. And it's got to do it with a long-term locked-in rate. Otherwise, you're speculating that interest rates will stay low, and you're taking a big chance. And now some of these investors that did that, not my investors, not under my advice anyways, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to need to sell these buildings.
And they've gone down in value, so now they're not selling them for as much money, so they could well be sitting in an upside down position. Like we've all heard the horror stories of people having to borrow to sell something, or worse yet, declare bankruptcy, or in some way excuse me.
Oh, bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, we want to bless you rather than harm you.
I got to say it. This topic is nothing to sneeze about.
It so isn't. Because leverage, I think the reason I get a twinge of anxiety when I hear the word leverage is because often it's done wrong. It's done to the detriment rather than to benefit people.
Yeah. So in this show, we're really talking about borrowing money on our existing asset to buy another asset, right? Buy another investment property. And initially it sounds maybe wrong. It sounds tricky. It sounds scary. But if we're just going up, like let's say we have some money, we have it in the bank at 2 or 3%. If inflation is 6%, for instance, we're guaranteed to be losing money.
Right, we're losing anyway.
We're losing. Well, are we losing money? No. When we're in the end, we put in $1,000, we have $1,030 less taxes, so maybe we got $1,015. So do we have less money? No, but that $1,015 buys less than the $1,000 did a year ago.
Right. So our power is being diminished. The power of our money.
Yeah.
The value of the money.
So the money needs to go up in value larger than inflation.
Right. And so how do you, because I hear all the time, cash flow is king, and you've been talking about that.
Yeah.
And yet you may be making great money even though you can't cash flow. So that's not the reason we would say leverage is good or bad.
Yeah, this gets so tricky that to try and explain on a video or over the air is like, it's like craziness. But when I can...
We're doing it anyway?
No, I'm not going to. But if I sit down with somebody and I run the numbers, I put some scenarios down on paper, it starts to make sense. Because maybe we can't get cash flow, especially if we're borrowing the down payment off our house. We're going to have negative cash flow. But putting that $200-$300 away each month to supplement that rental, what is it doing? Well, the rental is actually going, the mortgage is being paid down, let's say $1,100 by the tenant. So our mortgage goes down $1,100. It's assuming a tenant's paying like $2,200 or whatever, $1,100 of its principal, but you're paying $300 of that. So you're still ahead, like, what's that? $800 plus whatever the property will go up in the future. And so I can't really do it justice here on the air, but just know, like, you could put that $300 away for the next 10 years, have enough money for a down payment on something, right? Or you can buy it now leveraged and put the $300 a month into the mortgage payment, and you got 10 years of growth of a large asset.
Plus you have somebody paying down your mortgage. So therefore you're getting $800 in these numbers. These are just basic
just general
little numbers. And if you're going, you guys are confusing me all over the place, then you know what? Call for a clarity call, and we promise it'll be more clear than this. And or pick up the wealth formula. It's actually unpacked really well inside the wealth formula. And we were talking about 20% interest rate of return.
Yeah.
Let's touch on that for a minute.
Okay. Well, we're talking about investing in real estate. Real estate on average in the Ottawa area has gone up about 5%
per year.
Yeah. For 50 years. So if I use that number of 5%, and let's say I put down 20%, that's 5 times leverage, right? 20 goes into 100 5 times.
Yeah.
So in the first year, if the property goes up 5%, I've only put in 20% of the money, right? So that's 5 times leverage. Mm-hmm. So how much is it? Let's say it's $100,000.
Right.
That property's gone up $25,000. That's 25% rate of return.
Right. So it's not that confusing. It is simple math,
It's
right?
simple math, but it's a little bit tricky to try and talk it through on the airwaves.
Right. So,
but if you want a high rate of return, the easiest way to do it is with leverage.
Got it. So some say cash flow is king. What does Ken say?
I say that leverage is king.
Safe leverage.
And we'll hope to get cash flow.
Yeah.
So we're honored to be your advocates on this journey of building wealth and a life exponential.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward.